Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I really do hope that you've had a fantastic week. So we're going to continue with this foreshortened portrait. We're going to go into the darker values. I'll put in the link, I'm not sure if I can put a link in, but I'll certainly put in the site where I took this photograph off of, so that you can go directly to it and print it straight off, because I know that there have been some situations where people are not being able to print off a good quality print from the screenshot that I did. I do apologize for that, so I'll try and rectify that in the link below this video today. So this we did with the 2H, and today we are going to now go in and start putting the darks in with the 2B. I'm going to start on the outside of the portrait. As I said to you last week, I don't believe in completing everything on a portrait. I do believe that there should be some element of, what is the word I'm looking for, that the brain has to fill, the rest of the artwork in, and also it just gives that element of I don't know, I just feel that it definitely makes for a better piece of art. I don't think everything has to be 100%, and I do believe that that is what creates your style, and people start recognizing you for it as soon as they open Facebook or Instagram or wherever it is that they view art, and they see a piece and they can immediately identify it with you. And that's exactly what has happened with me. I don't finish, or I shouldn't say I don't finish, I do finish. I just don't draw the complete subject all the way through to every single little aspect of the photograph that I have chosen. I just prefer it. It's just my way of doing things, my style. So you want to develop your style over time, and everybody, it's absolutely it fascinates me. It's absolutely incredible that everybody can draw the exact same subject that I am teaching, and yet every single student's work will look completely different. So I'm filling in the background. As you can see, it's extremely dark around here. We can achieve that. However, we're using graphite, so I'm not really too phased if I don't achieve that intense black. That is what the photograph portrays. So I'm going to go in and just give it a nice deeper, darker background, push the actual portrait out with the face out of the paper. Right, so we have that down, and then I'm going to go in, and you can see that I'm not putting in like any massive detail. What I'm doing is, from on the side of my pencil, all I'm doing is I'm filling in the darker tones, and I'm purely doing this because I don't want to really put in too many absolute details on it. I want to get a realistic feel, but I also want a very drawn feel as well. So we go down around the side of the nose. There's quite a big shadow there, and obviously across the top of his mouth. And as I said to you in the last video, this particular gentleman has got a beautiful, very, very pronounced upper lip, so we're going to get that in. His mouth is slightly open, so we do need to get that detail in, or that depth in, should I say. And you can see that I'm not really going in any particular sort of fashion or shape. I'm just getting the shadows in. This shadow down here is extremely detailed, and we do need to try and get that in because it is quite a crucial part of this portrait. So I'm going to try and get that in, and then the nostrils, obviously we need that deep dark shadow as well. So I'm using the side of my pencil so that I don't, as I said earlier on, I don't want to get a massive amount of detail in yet. I do want to get in the tonal values, which is why I'm using the side of the pencil, and deepening and darkening those areas. Whoops, I've gone off there, that's fine. I will use my kneaded eraser in a minute to sort that out. Right, so all we want to do is we just want to get in the shadows behind the fingers. I'm not going to go into too many details of the fingers. You can already see that your brain will fill that in. As long as we have a pretty good outline of fingers, then the viewer's brain, and you'll hear me talk about the viewer all the time, because you are not the viewer, it is the person who is looking at your art is the viewer. And they will immediately know that that is a hand on either side of this drawing. So this 2B is the start of the layering. And this is as dark as what is around the gentleman's face. So we do want to get that depth in, that is important. And then we just want to go in around the fingers here, get that in, goes down. Oops, every time I look at my my picture I go off of my drawing slightly. Right, and then that is right up against the ear. Right, so let's just put this in. That goes down the side of the face over here, and we've got this goes across there. That goes across on that side too. We are going to blend this out so it will start looking a little bit better. I just want to get this eyebrow in a bit darker. We will go into a 4B in a minute. Get that in. And then we've got this shading on the top of the forehead. So I just want to get that done. So the shading should not be the same depth as what the background is. The background has got to be darker, and we can enhance the depth of that tone just for this 2B, just to make sure that we get the differentiation between the background and the actual face itself. Okay, so let's blend. I also just want to put this bit of shadow in underneath the lip. That's also quite a crucial, important piece. Here we go. Right, let's take our blender and let's blend. I'm going to get one from over here. I realized that I didn't bring my blenders over with me. Right, so here we go. So let's start blending this area. We can bring some of this graphite up into here. Whatever is on your blender should not be too dark. Do be aware that you will carry after you have blended this out. Obviously the blending stump will have graphite on it and will therefore carry. Graphite across wherever you are blending. So we've got this amazing light here, and we have this shadow goes up here, but you can see that this is quite a pronounced eyelid. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll lift it out in a minute. Take that across there, and I'm going to just gently lay down some graphite across his entire face with a little bit that is on my blender. I'm just doing it lightly. I am not putting a lot of pressure on here except where I have gone in with my pencil. Just lightly put some down there. There is quite a lot of light across here, so we don't want to get that too dark. And then this goes down into the side of his face. You can see that it disappears into that background. So let's just get that done. And then we've got shadow here. This is where I am on the drawing. Comes down here underneath there, and his nostril needs to be blended. And then you can see that across the top of his nose he has a shadow, and he's, I think they call this a septum. I didn't actually look it up, and I should have done, because I was calling it the same name last week in the video, and I didn't look it up, but I think that is what it's called. Just getting these fingers in now. I want to get some of this graphite down lightly on his cheek across here. I'm just trying to get these fingers in. We will go in and we will put in a bit more detail on those fingers in a minute, or later on in the video. I keep on saying in a minute, and this just doesn't take a minute, does it? Go down there, get that shadow in, and we want to put this in. So we have fingers. There's a shadow here across the back of his hand, and it's quite dark here. Right, let's go into the background. Let's continue this hand down here. So this is where his neck ends here. So we're going to leave that. We'll continue the hand down here so that the viewer knows that that hand continues. I quite like that. Okay, let's keep on blending. You, of course, you do whatever you feel is right for you and for your drawing. As I said to you before, this is exactly how you start creating your own style, is by adding and subtracting whatever it is that you feel and what you see in, well, any subject, not just a portrait. I mean, we're doing a portrait here, but with any subject. It's entirely up to you as to what you want the viewer to see and what you don't want them to see. Just blend this out. There we go. And all the way around. Please, I don't know whether the audio is picking up what's happening outside the apartment here, but I have a beautiful window that looks down on an incredible pincushion, little garden, and obviously the next door neighbours, and whatever's sort of happening outside, it echoes, and the sound carries quite a bit here. But that's what apartment living is all about, and it really doesn't bother me, but I'm just hoping that it's not too much of it on the actual video itself. It interferes with what I'm saying, but I don't think it is. Okay, so here we have the start of basically just shading. This is what this portrait is made up of, is almost entirely, well, it is actually shading. And it just shows you the detail that you can achieve just with shading. So when I get this is a bit deeper, a bit darker than what I have it at. Right, so now I'm going to get my 4B. Just want to check this area here. So this actually joins that, comes around and up this side of the mouth. I've kind of lost the top of his mouth there, but that's fine, we'll put that in. Okay, so I'm quite liking what this is looking like. And as I said to you, you build, and if you don't like what I'm doing, you do what you like and what you want the viewer to have a look at. I'm just going in here with, as you can see, the top of my blender. I'm just demarcating out. This blender is quite blunt, so I'm getting quite a thick line, which I didn't really want, but that's fine. I can just do that. I'm going to lift out here so that I get the shape of the hand back in again. Okay, so far that's looking pretty good, I think. I just want to lift out some of the hand here. I've just gone a bit too far into that. Let's just see. So I'll take that out. And where else is it? It's fine there. Obviously the palms, or the edges of the palms of the hands, are a little bit more plumper than what I've got them at. And then we can start going in. I want to lift this back out again, although there is a shadow here, but there's an outline on the top lip. It goes around that shadow. There we go. Looks a bit better. There's a shadow, there's a light. Pull out the light here, and there's light all the way across the bottom of this part of the right hand side of the lip. So I'm just going to take that out. Light around here. And there's a bit of light coming down here, which I just want to pull out again. I can take that out of the top of the eyelid. And let's take this out. This is the area that I want to lift ever so lightly, just to get that look of that lid. Okay, that's starting to look a bit better, I think. There we go, that side there, and then we've got this whole section here. Right, so what I've picked up is this is too far over, this eyebrow. If I look at this line here, and I look at my eyebrow, I'm too far over. So I'm going to lift that out. I just want to get my Tombow. I had a workshop on Wednesday, so everything is a bit chaotic in my studio here. So get that off, and then I want to take this out. Tombow just works a whole lot better, even though it does leave a sediment. And then we can take this shadow across. That's what it looks like. And take this, just lift this ever so lightly out. That is lighter there than what that is. And this is darker in here, across the top of the nose onto the forehead. Okay, I think that's starting to look a bit better. This needs to be pulled out. There's a little bit of light here. Okay, getting there. getting there, I think. Pull that out. Okay. Right, now we can go in with our 4B, which, as you know, is a much, much darker pencil. I'm going to go straight in towards the eyebrows because those are very, very dark. So we'll get that tonal value in. And there is a dark bit down here. I want to get that in. Goes down towards the eye. And then I want to get this where the eyelashes are. I want to get that in. I like that shape very, very much. Okay, and then we've got the lid crease. So we can put that in, and we've got a couple of eyebrow hairs. We'll put that in. This is a very, very flat straight line, but I'll use the Tombow in a minute just to straighten that out. And then on this side, we've got the hairs. And then it goes into a very, very dark eyebrow. And it disappears down the side of the face. But we've still got these, you can still see a few hairs there. So we'll just put that in like that. Okay, then the nose comes up here. And let's make sure I get this shape right. Goes round down. The side of the nostril, there we go. And we've got that very, very dark where we can see into that nostril. Get that done. And this side done. So I've moved that nostril over. You can clearly see that I have. That wasn't right. Let's just check that that is correct. And then we have this shadow on this side, and we have coming down into the actual, that crease that one has. And this comes down. It's quite a dark line here, as you can see. That side, and I just want to make sure that I do get that nostril down there. There's a very, very light shadow here for the bottom of the outside of the nostril there. And then I'm going to go across onto this side. I hope I've got this nose right. And put this eye in. And there is a crease across the top of this eye as well. Okay, this is quite dark, this that comes down below his eye. This nostril actually across there and comes down here. Yeah, here we go. I think disappears into there. I'm going to deepen this slightly with this 4B just to get a better shadow there. We do have the top of this lip. There is a line that I can see that goes down. I'm going to put that in. And then we have a very, very dark, almost like a teardrop shadow. On this lip. Get that shadow in there. Excuse me. Get that across there. And then I'm going to pull that up that this is correct. It's not easy drawing foreshortened portraits, but it's such a good exercise. It really is. This comes up, this bottom part of the slip comes up. This is in line with that shadow, and this is in line with, I suppose, that little shadow that comes in there. So the width of his mouth I feel is correct, and then there is a dimple in here, so we'll get that dimple in. This comes down. That I might change. I might change this here. I don't think this is right. I just want to get this correct. Right, I'm going to blend, because blending always helps and makes a difference. And then we can lift out and add in whatever we need to do. Blend that out and down like that. I love how blenders almost soften, and how you can change the shape of something just by blending it out. I love that about blenders. Okay, so that's a mistake that I've made. I've taken this line all the way down there, and it doesn't go all the way down there. And those hands don't start there either. So, using my blender again just to blend out that finger, because we can lift it out. We can lift that out with our eraser. Okay, this needs to come over, so I'm going to blend that over there. I'll take this down. There we go. Starting to look a little bit better. Lift this out here. And then I'm going to go in with my Tombow just to remove this line that I've put in there, because I don't like it. It doesn't look right. I'd rather just take that out like that. Blend this out over, and then take this up. And the best thing that you can do, which is on one of my first videos, is to actually take a photograph of your work as you are going along, and it will immediately show you where you've gone wrong. You can immediately pick up what's wrong with your work. It's quite incredible. I use it all the time. Just want to get this out of here. This is not right. Across this bottom of this nose as well. You can just put that back in. There's a shadow there on that part of the lip. This goes down. And also goes down. So this is where we start carving out the actual lip highlights and things that should give it a 3D effect by the time we're finished. That's what we hope for anyway. This down here, there's a definite light reflection on the edge of that nostril. This nostril needs to come up more. Blend that over. And there's quite a bit of light, of shadow, not just showing across the top, but also down half of his nose too. So I just want to get that right. We can take that out like that. Okay, back to here. Sorry, I do know I jump around, but as I see things, then I kind of want to rectify it almost immediately, because it's so obvious. I suppose that's the reason why I do it. So I hope it doesn't put you off, but you'll see, you'll do the exact same thing. It's quite amazing. You know, you never ever stick to just the drawing of the one area. One does seem to jump around on it. Just lifting that ever so slightly so it's not as dark. Come back in again to get that shape right. And I feel that this bottom lip may not be as thick as it should be. Okay, let's take that up there for that side, because it almost just disappears. And we can take that up there, and then we can take this light out. There we go. Take that piece out there. Okay, I hope that it's looking all right. I am in the picture, as I've said to you before, and you can't really see your mistakes unless you, as I say, you take a photograph and look at it from that sort of point of view. Just getting these shapes of these fingers in. So that means that I need to bring this face out, this side of the face out a bit, just to balance that. Yep, there it is. And then we can blend that back in again. Right, so if we take the 4B and we start just giving the outline of it, we don't have to do the complete. So in other words, just a sort of a halo around his face. It will immediately pop, and we don't even have to do it around the entire thing. You can already see how this is popping. You honestly don't have to go in as dark the entire way around. All that you want is that you want a complete contrast and difference between the face itself and the background. So even this little bit that I've done here has already pushed the face forward, and that's all that you want. That's all that you're looking for. And I'm just going to carefully go around these fingers. And I know that this is where it is, you know, the tone is inside here. So I'm just going to give that a bit more. This is the 4B that I'm using. that a really good contrast. I would even go into this part of the portrait with a darker pencil. And then we're just going to carefully, very, very carefully get that shadow in. And here. Just so that it's definitely fingers to the viewer. And we don't even really need to put in very much detail at all, because the viewer will pick that up as fingers. I just want to take this out because I want this to be a proper knuckle and finger look. There we go. And then as we had done, we went in here, a bit of a contrast, bit of a shading here, but we're not going past the neckline. We're just putting that in so that the viewer knows that those are hands. Put in the bit more on the ear, contrast on the ear, and we can take the, in fact I think I'm going to start with a 2H. There's my 2H, and I'm just going to put in very, very subtle fingernails, very, very subtly. That's all we're going to do, and then we're going to also put in just the creases that one sees on a hand. I'm going to do that. And here. And here. And then that one is higher, so we're just going to put that in. And the next one is a bit higher than that one, so we're just going to put markings in for that. We can put in the nails. Take that out. Okay. And as I said to you, we're not drawing hands or fingers here, but we are just putting in a very, very subtle suggestion of fingers and hands. And I just want to lighten this a little bit, although it's very, very dark on the photograph. I don't want that to be the focal point of this picture, of this drawing. Just giving the, I'm just pushing these fingers back slightly by shading them in. Because as I said to you, I don't want them to be the focus. And I'm blending them out. Right, so we now have a portrait. Sorry, I'm thinking about what next to blend here. So we now have a portrait that it's a foreshortened, as I said to you, portrait. And if you've been following along and you have drawn this, congratulations to you, because these are not easy to draw. I've deliberately taken out as much of the detail as possible because we want to just enjoy this, you know, the actual shapes and everything that we have here. There are a few eyelashes there. There aren't any on this side, but there is a line at the top of this lid. And I just want to get in. There we go. This goes up here. And as I said to you, there are going to be areas that are important to you, and you will see this differently. Everybody does. Everybody's portrait will be different, which is what is so amazing. I just want to get this straight line here because it is quite straight on the actual photograph. And it just fascinates me how the same photograph can produce so many different variations of artwork. Okay, so there we are. There we have it. I know I don't have his mouth 100%. Quite a different mouth to draw. And perhaps maybe I'll do that as a separate video, just so that we can all learn, including myself, from it. But for the intent and purposes of this video and foreshortening, there we have it. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I do hope that you practice. I'm always going on about practicing. Practice makes perfect, and it really, really does. You honestly cannot expect to get anywhere without practicing and without learning. It's just not possible with any medium, not just with this medium. So you've learned how to make a sketchbook. That's what this series was all about. And we're filling it. And if you filled this sketchbook, then you know how to make another one. Start and make another one. So I'm hoping that is what you take out of this entire series. I'm just deepening as I'm talking this section of his face. Right, there we go. Thank you everybody for joining me, and do have fun while you're doing it, because that's what it is all about.